with you that makes the selling process very simple. I'd like to call it the sell technique. Show the feature, explain the feature, lead to the benefit, and let the customer decide. If you'll write those 4 things down, we'll talk about them in just a minute. Let's look at these one at a time. First, the S. Here you show the feature. You direct the customer's attention to what you're talking about by pointing to it. For example, if I asked you where the local 7-Eleven was, what would you do? You'd say, well, you go down this street about 3 blocks and you turn to the left. You used your hand to show me where the 7-Eleven was. The same thing with merchandise. You put your finger on it. Now, how do you explain the feature to a customer? You tell them how it works. It doesn't have to be a very long sentence, just something very quick and easy to explain to the customer what the feature is. A lot of times we think the customers understand what 14-karat gold is, or they understand what facets of a diamond are, and they don't. The next thing you do is you lead to the benefit. You tell the customer what's in it for them, by telling them what they're going to get from the feature. What is it the customer is going to take away from the feature? Then finally, you let the customer decide. You do this by asking them if they like the benefit, and you do it in a way to get a positive or yes answer. Let's listen to a conversation that Bill had with a customer before he learned to sell benefits.
This is a Seiko quartz watch with a day date and sweep second hand, stainless steel back and metal bracelet. It's only $295.
As you notice, it sounds as though Bill is rushing his customers, and a sales presentation of features only can be very confusing. Now let's listen to Bill as he uses the sell technique.
Now, Tony, this watch also comes with a day and a date. The day and the date are programmed into the watch and appear automatically right here in this little box. That means at a glance you could tell what the day and the date is. It's a great convenience in a watch, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, also it comes with a...
By using the sell technique, Bill can tailor his sales presentation to each customer, and his customers feel as though Bill is interested in their needs, wants, and desires. To help us understand this technique a little better, I would like to share with you an invention of mine called a sell grid.
Group leaders, please hand out blank cell grids and listen as Nancy discusses the grid.
It's called a grid because it's divided into separate columns or a network, much like a gridiron or a football field. The first column of boxes lists a place to put the feature of a particular item. The second column has boxes to explain the feature. The third column is used to explain the benefit of the particular feature, and the fourth column is used to let the customer decide. Now let's make a sell grid on this particular pen. Now, the first thing we need to talk about is its slimness. That's the feature. So you would write slimness down in the first column under show feature. Now to explain slimness to you, it's very narrow in width. So you would write narrow in width down under the explain feature column. Now the benefit of having a pen that's slim and narrow in width is that it's easy to hold. So you would write easy to hold down in the benefit column. Now in the fourth column, we're going to have to let the customer decide. So we have to say something in a very positive way. You would like a pen that's easy to hold, wouldn't you? So write that down in the last column. You would like a pen that's easy to hold. Now you have the first feature of the pen using the cell technique listed on the grid. Do you see how this technique can help you in your sales presentation?
Group leaders, choose an item in your classroom, such as a pen, and have your group fill in their cell grid using the technique. Allow 20 to 30 minutes for this exercise. When you're ready to continue, push play. Now, stop the tape.
Now that you understand the cell technique, let's hear how Bill uses it in step 5.
For example, notice on this ring how there are no prongs? This is called a channel set. That means that the diamonds are mounted in a smooth gold bar-like design. What kind of work do you do, Helen?
Well, as a secretary, I have a lot of filing to do.
Well, then you definitely could appreciate this design concept. In a channel setting, there are no prongs again, which means that you don't have to worry about the prongs lifting or catching on anything as you file. That's important to you, isn't it?
Yes, very important.
Did you notice how Bill used the information he learned about his customer during step 2, the presentation, in his cell technique? He related Helen's work to the benefit of channel setting that gives the benefit more impact with the customer. To help us understand how to make more money selling, let's take a look at a film strip on selling watches. Pay special attention to the features and the benefits of each type of watch.
At this point, you're going to change tapes to view the Selling Watches film strip.
Now that we have a better understanding of how a watch works, let's get involved in how to sell a watch. What's the technique that we talked about in the film that will help us in selling watches? Now let's practice using the cell technique to sell watches.
Group leaders, hand out the prepared watch grid and have the class read along with Nancy.
Okay, let's read the grid together. The first feature is quartz. Now to explain quartz, it means that the watch is run by a battery or a power cell. So what's the benefit of having a power cell? Well, a quartz watch keeps extremely accurate time. Now you ask the customer to decide. Accurate timekeeping is important to you, isn't it? All right, let's take the next feature, analog face. Analog means that it shows time in its 24-hour sequence with hands. Now the benefit of that is this watch face has a very classic look. You would like your watch to always be in style, wouldn't you? The next thing, the day and the date. The day of the week and the day of the month are displayed on the face. The benefit is that at a glance you can see what day and date it is. It would be convenient to have that information right on your wrist, wouldn't it? Quick set. A device in the crown changes the day and date independently without affecting the time on the dial. This makes for easy time and day and date changes. You would appreciate this ease, especially during a short month, wouldn't you? The next feature is the sweep second hand. The second hand runs continuously, making a revolution about the face every 60 seconds. It's especially beneficial for anyone who is concerned about timing events. You would like to be able to time events accurately, wouldn't you? The next feature is its water resistancy. It will resist perspiration and light moisture. Now the benefit of that is that you can wear the watch for most normal day-to-day activity without worrying about its internal mechanisms. It's good to know that your watch is well protected, isn't it? And finally, the manufacturer. The manufacturer has one of the most diversified watch lines available. This means that your watch will be individually tailored to fit your needs. You would like your watch to reflect your fine taste, wouldn't you?
Group leaders, divide your class into groups of 2. One person playing the customer and the other is the salesperson. When you're ready to begin, push play. Now, stop the tape. Now, have your group develop their own grids from these merchandising photos. For those of you in the Zale, Mission, and Lease divisions, these are your merchandise photographs. These photographs will be on the screen for 60 seconds and will be followed by photographs of watches for the Guild division. Allow 40 minutes for the entire exercise. Refer to your Leader's Guide, page 16, for further instructions on this